Bird, 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 bird. Get him. Yeah! Ron Babe was right. Ron Babe was right.
I'm feeling spry. Hey everybody, it's Ron Bain with the Hunting Dog Podcast. It is May the 3rd. Another month behind me, another month in front of me of the same thing. Michigan was just told, guess what? Things aren't returning to normal, maybe at the end of May. So I got another 4 weeks of sitting around here. But I enjoy doing it. I enjoy putting these podcasts out. Last month I put out a couple more. And what I really have enjoyed is the generosity of listeners. And I'm really humbled by it, but generosity of listeners who go to Patreon, Patreon, and they click the donate button, or they go to my website and click the donate button, which will take you to Patreon. And we have had, I don't want to say a landslide of people, but you know what? A little bitty rock slide. And I really, really do appreciate it for people who could listen to the show for free and choose to support it. And you know what? It's a good feeling. It really is. And I can tell you there's going to be a couple more episodes of For Your Ears Only. And that's something that I do with, we break down some question and answers with Justin, and we take a little bit more time on a question, and then we release it to Patreon, and you can hear those because everybody loves Justin's breakdown of training problems, dogs problems, and all the other stuff, and a little bit of my injection. So anyway, that's coming up. And to you same folks, I just buried a 300-foot cable out to the kennel so I can get better Wi-Fi. I'm going to start. I'm not sure what night of the week it'll be. In fact, I might need to do a survey. But I'm going to start doing a what do you call it? A Zoom room, okay? And my Patreon patrons are going to do it. You want to sit together? You know, we got the Hunters Happy Hour, okay? That's cool, but we're going to have our own private one, all right? You guys can ask me questions. We could do whatever we want. We could smoke dope and badmouth our country. It'll be all private. Our private-owned Patreon Zoom room. That's coming up here as soon as I get a guy to come over and put the ends on this Cat 5 cable. And I got to do, once I know I got good enough internet out here, bam, that's something else we're going to do. It'll be a new club. Speaking of a new club, that's got nothing to do with a new club. Anyway, Pike Gear, my title sponsor. We just wrapped up a short promotion for the Rough Grouse Society. Ended on May 1st at midnight. And as of that morning of May 1st, I believe we're already up to around $10,000 or $11,000 from that $20 raffle that you could take to get a whole bunch of Pike Gear and a Benelli shotgun. I don't know who the winner of that was, but they're one lucky son of a bitch for a $20 raffle ticket. But Pike Gear has joined up with artist Jay Dowd and the Rough Grouse Society. So for this month, May, we're stepping it up again, okay? If you join or renew your regular RGS AWS membership, you'll get a $25 coupon from Pike Gear, and you'll also receive a custom bandana featuring the artist Jay Dowd. It's not picturing him. It's featuring the art, okay? And I got a picture of it. It's really cool. It's an orange. What do you call it? I call it a neckerchief. You know, what do they call it? A bandana. I don't know why they call it bandana. I call it a neckerchief. Anyway, you know what? These days, you're supposed to have these things, supposed to have masks on. You can tie this right into a mask real quick. Boom, you got your mask in your car. You don't look like some doctor that forgot to take off his scrubs when you walk into a gas station. You could take that. That's a great reason to do this. I'm going to do it. I've already done it. Anyway, so if you join or renew your membership, you're going to get $25 off coupon for any Pike Gear, and you're also going to receive this custom bandana. That's cool. Now, what's even cooler, if you join or renew your RGS AWS conservation membership, one step bigger. It's the next level of it's the next level of membership. Okay? Then you'll get a $50 coupon off of Pike Gear, and you'll also receive the custom bandana that we talked about that I love, and a graphic T-shirt featuring the art of Jay Dowd, and it is a very cool. It is a big profile head of a rough grouse in a circle. Go online, look it up. It's very cool looking shirt. I better have one of these in the mail by Monday. And they just came out with this deal. So, hey, if you want to keep helping, or if you're already a member and you want to renew and get some neat gear, besides your magazine and your stickers and all that other stuff, it's the time. Thank you, Brent from Pike Gear. Thank you, RGS, and thank you, Jay Dowd. Thank you, Purina Pro Plan, for feeding my dogs. You know what? I don't know what else to tell you about Purina. They also sponsor, RGS, PF, Navda. Come on. They're taking care. We need to take care of them. Feed Purina. Don't buy, especially these days. Don't buy junk these days. Don't buy anything that might come from someplace you don't trust. Please don't. You know what you could buy right now? It's a great time to decide. In fact, I already forwarded 2 emails over to my friends at CZ USA. 2 listeners said, hey, we're getting ready. They hear me talk about break open shotguns, and they want to know which one to get. And I'm like, God, I don't know. Well, one of them wanted to know where you could find all the models. And I'm like, there's not that many gun shops that you can go to. In fact, I don't think most of them are even open. But I forwarded their emails right to CZ USA, and they'll get a hold of them. They've got the all-terrain series, the ultralight, their pumps, their autos. I love their break open guns. The Bob White and the Drake are my favorite. They've just got so many. They got more models to choose from than the Bunny Ranch has escorts to choose from. I don't know who came up with this grand selection idea that you had so many choices in life that it's hard to make a decision. But CZ is one of those companies. Onyx Maps. Now, there's really no decision to be made there. If you want a hunt map system, if you want to know where you stand, know where you're going to hunt, do your scouting. Hey, we're all locked down right now. Literally, we are all locked down. In fact, I just found out from Dave Miller at CZ USA. He said he just purchased the Onyx map system, the Elite, the whole package, the whole country. And I was on the phone with him. I felt like, if you'd have told me, I probably could have got him to send you one. But anyway, it's the perfect time of year to scout. We know no matter what happens, come fall, we're going to go hunting. Don't go hunting without your Onyx map system. Don't, please. Salem Autosports, how are you going to get there next year? Are you new? Are you like, I need a dog box? Oh, okay, I got a gunner kennel. I got a shotgun. I got a dog. Do you have a truck? Do you want to buy a new truck? Go ahead. You can get that, 90 days free right now. Nothing's free. But you can find a great used truck at Salem Autosports. You get a hold of Brandon down there. Call him up. Look up SalemAutosports.com. Get a hold of Brandon. Look at their inventory. And if they don't have what you're looking for, he's sitting around a little bit more time on his hands. Tell him to get to the auto auctions. Tell him to get online. Tell him to find what you're looking for. Okay? Keep him busy. Backridge Ammunition. Just talked to Adam this morning. And he said, just say the same thing. Just say, I am the craft beer of non-tox ammunition. I said, it's getting kind of old. I said, you got to give me some copy. He says, Ron, I don't know what else to tell you. It's driving people to the website. People are buying it up, even, their turkey loads and everything. So there you go. Backridge Ammunition, the craft beer of ammunition. Yeah, Wilderness Athlete, the original, the oldest supplement company and the only company that's thought about their dogs, because Floyd Green, one of the principals, is a houndsman. So he told all these chemists and geniuses making hydrate and recover for people and energy drinks, he said, I need something for my lion dogs. So they came up with New Dog and Hydrate and Recover for your dogs. Go on their website. Canine Athlete now has their own website. We've got some specials. I think we have a special on Patreon. And next week, if I didn't already tell you, there's a special. Just, just write me. Ron B. at the Hunting Dog Podcast. I'll take care of you. Whoever you are, you'll get the appropriate discount on any new dog. In fact, New Dog or Canine Athlete or regular Wilderness Athlete. You put the whole package together, get yourself some energy and focus. I like the berry flavor. That's my new favorite. And it's fantastic stuff. Here's another one. Gum leaf boots. Now, Jack came up with this. Is my last one, okay? Last one. Jack came up with this. So I didn't make this up. I wish he would have called me. He calls this the Maygear lead special. Mayger. Now, why? Because it's May. And the hunting lead that we offer, the Jaeger lead, he's got it on special this month. If you buy a pair of boots, in any pair of boots, you get the Jaeger lead for $99, and trust me, you can't find this kind of leather work anywhere unless your neighbor happens to be an Amish harness maker. You are not going to be able to find this Jaeger lead ever again for $99 if you buy a pair of boots, and you get free shipping, okay? So look, you got Mother's Day coming up. You got Father's Day coming up. Go to Gumleaf. The only way you can do this, there's not even going to be there's no discount code. It's just you call 844-GUMLEAF, 844-GUMLEAF, Gumleaf. Tell them you want the Mayger lead special. Mayger. I guess that's like Jaeger lead special. Mayger lead special. Jack, you are great at knowing how to fit people's boots. You are a great salesperson. I've seen you in action. I'm not sure if anybody's ever going to hire you for your marketing. But don't miss the Mayger lead special. It's hard to say. Anyway, if you have any questions, you can get a hold of me. If you're completely confused, just go to Gumleaf's website, look at their stuff. You know what? You want to really impress your wife. You're getting your wife into hunting. Get her, because they got them for women too now. It's not that women don't have to just buy, small men's boots anymore. They got really cool rubber boots just for women only. Okay, you got spring training maybe coming up, or mushroom hunting, or whatever you do when you need a rubber boot, and you just got your girlfriend or your wife into hunting. Let them show up in a pair of Gumleafs, and all the other people are going to go like, "Oh, where'd you get them?" And then your better half's going to look at their boots and go like, "Oh, you got those at Tractor Supply, didn't you?" No, I got mine from Gumleaf. I wouldn't wear anything else on my feet. There.
Did you pick up your gunner kennel yet? Are you going to show up next season with your dog in a 10-cent crate in the back of a $60,000 truck or $20,000 truck or whatever you're driving? Please, put your dog in something safe. Put him in a gunner kennel. Only lifetime warranted kennel on the market. That means you buy it once. You've got it the rest of your years. If you're going to be a hunter of me, like 40 years divided by 365 days a year, what is that, like 3 cents a day for a gunner kennel? I don't know what it is, but it's cheap if you think about lifetime warranty, lifetime, free shipping, okay? I don't need to say anything more. The only 5-star crash-rated kennel on the market. Of course it is. Of course it is. Anyway, hey, this episode I did with Steve Rinella. I know some of you are certainly crossover fans. Some of you, and I've met you at places, you don't know who the heck he is. If you don't, it's not hard to find out. But Steve and I have been friends for, 25, almost 30 years, since he was just a little yonker teenager. And I told him, I said, hey, you're locked down, I'm locked down, I need some extra podcasts. Let's come on and do a podcast. And for those of you who are Steve Rinella fans, you're going to hear some stuff out of his mouth you've never heard before. And for those of you who are not Steve Rinella fans, you're just going to hear two old friends talking. But we do get into the end. We do get into the fact that his family finally got a dog. And it's not a hunting dog. It's, I don't know what it looks like, a dingo or something. But anyway, I gave Steve a little pop quiz that I designed for dog owners. And Mr. Rinella found that he was not that knowledgeable about dogs. He might know how to trap a beaver and make mint jelly out of a white-tailed deer. I don't know, but he don't know squat about dogs. It's very evident from this quiz. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode. It was fun to do. I'm going to have another one out midweek. You're going to like that one. And then I'll probably put out 6, maybe 7 this month. I love you all. Don't forget to go to the website. It's been working. We're getting new subscriptions. And there you can also see Taffy's progress. The 3rd video should be up from Cato Outdoors, okay? And that's Jordan Horick. He's working with Taffy, and we're going to have myself one finished, fine little flesher. A fine, finished fluffer. Flesher. Enjoy the episode.
Anyway, I'm talking with my old friend, old employee, and ex-neighbor, Steve Rinella. So, Steve, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man.
We were just chatting before I hit record. You're going through the. I used to borrow. You used to borrow tools. Actually, you used to steal tools from me. Let's be honest.
I'd steal them.
And
Only
then
certain ones, chin snips, drift pins,
the basics.
stuff like that. Yeah.
And
which
then
I still have and use, so I got more life out of them than you would have gotten out of them.
And then up till even as much as 6 months ago, you asked me if I had any extra porta-bands around.
Yes.
And now you have like all the Milwaukee tools that some rep gave to you, and you don't want to send me any of the batteries.
No, but
What happened to our
I don't know.
relationship?
I'm kind of, you know how like the whole stockpiling mentality's kicking in on everybody right now.
Yeah.
Maybe when the current situation passes and society goes back to normal.
Maybe when you feel like you can go.
I won't have the stockpiling mentality that I have right now.
You might need
But I think
every.
if all these batteries are charged, right? And
Yeah.
then the power grid goes down. It'll be a long time that I'll be able to like do yard work for a long time with my tools.
Neighbors will be coming to you for little things because
No.
you still have a drill and a sawzall.
I might lend you Ronnie's tin snips, maybe.
But I was going to send you a new pair. I want to, you know what? Because when we talked, I don't know what it was, or we emailed a couple weeks ago, and I said, I know you're on lockdown, so I know you can't go anywhere. I know you don't like phone interviews, but that's the only way we could do it anyway.
Oh yeah, we've had to, it's horrible.
Yeah.
We've been doing them.
But you don't like them you don't like them in general. I've 80% of mine are on the phone, so it's like normal for me. But when I knew you were locked down, I said, Steve, I want you to come on the podcast and just, I thought if you asked me why, I already had a reason. There has been since we went to the North Slope of Alaska or bear hunting, and I just found my bear tag like 3 days ago, my cutout bear tag from when we went to Prince of Wales Island. It was 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
10 years ago, May 16th, it's tagged out.
Was it really?
10 years ago. And I thought to myself, since 10 years ago is the last time where I ever shot the shit with Steve without a camera or you in a hurry or somebody else calling you. Even when we did the thing on stage or pheasant, it's like the conversations are always like 5 minutes, 8 minutes. Because you're like the busiest guy that I know right now. I don't know if I could be as busy as you ever.
Yeah, I'm trying to raise kids and then also have a job. And takes a lot out of a person, man. You can probably remember back.
Oh, you know what, though? But it wasn't the same. Like, I had Sue staying at home, and when I was gone, there was no raising the kids or trying to put it, you know what I'm saying? I just had to just keep going to work.
Yeah.
It's not this, like, it's not the same thing. Like, it's just not. In fact, even you, Vance, my kids are 20, at the youngest, my kid's 20 years older than Jimmy, or 21. It's just different. I don't.
What do you mean it's different?
Well, there's way more dad participation stuff now.
Oh yeah, but I'm not going to let someone else. I'm not going to leave it to someone else to figure out what my kids ought to be like.
No. I don't mean leave it to someone else. I mean it was just kind of more the way it was.
Yeah, but I like to get them out in the woods and get them out hunting and fishing all the time, man. I'm not going to like.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. You're busier. You're even busier almost than, like you said. You know what it's like. I raise kids. I said no. I was never that busy. Never. I always make sure I had time for toddies at night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my toddy drinking. Well, my toddy drinking is a whole other story, man. That was more like a thing that happened to me.
Yeah. Well, you're back to drinking.
It's been a busy decade, And it's been weird going through this with the quarantine situation, because this is the first time you and I spoke about this the other day on the phone, but this is my first glimpse into what it's like to
Home life, like
just to kind of like be home without some impending
trip
thing you got to go do.
Right,
You know?
right.
Because like, you know, even if you're home for a week, if you were gone a week, if you're gone a week and then you're home for a week or whatever, then you got to go away for another week. It just feels different, right? You feel like you're trying to like unpack. You're thinking ahead. You're packing. You're preoccupied with leaving. This is the rare opportunity to sort of tuck into the just like being around, you know?
yeah.
Being
I mean,
home.
but it's a life that like a whole lot of people have always had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like it took like really extraordinary circumstances to give me a glimpse into what you know, there's no normal is, you know, when you look at other people's lives and you go like, oh, what's normal? I think it's a figment of your imagination, right? Like I don't think anyone on the planet, most people on the planet, don't sit around thinking, I have a very normal life, right?
Right.
But you have a vision of what it would, you know, everyone has a vision of some other thing that must seem normal.
Right.
And this is closing in on my notion of what normal must be like, right? Even though
You're not sure.
even though it's all make believe, right?
Right.
The whole thing is make believe,
Right.
Like, but this is sort of my glimpse into what it would be had I chosen some different life for myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Like,
and it's been going on for, you know, I guess over a month now, man.
yeah.
We were down in Mexico, so I was with my kids there, and for a week, and then we came home and quarantined for 2 weeks, and then 2 more weeks, and
What's Montana saying? Are they saying anything? Are they thinking about opening up at the end of this month?
Well, I think that some things are going to phase in. Right now, we're under sort of a stay-at-home restriction, but it has pretty ample exceptions. We haven't been taking advantage of a media exception.
You could have actually?
Well, I didn't look into it.
Yeah.
We didn't think it was a good idea to press that, but
Right.
there's a media exception. But we haven't been doing that. Just as a company, we haven't been doing that. And then, but you can still do outdoor recreation, right? So
Sure.
you know, turkey. They started to restrict non-resident turkey tags. I think trying to prevent, like everybody, trying to prevent people from bouncing around from state to state. But
Yeah.
we just got back. You know, I took my kids out. We hunted turkeys we went out and camped for 3 nights and hunted turkeys. Got back last night.
Oh, nice. Did you guys get one?
We went on Friday. Yeah, we got 2. Where we were, you're allowed. Where we were, you can get 2 turkeys. So
Gotcha. Did Jimmy get his first turkey then?
No, he's not 10 yet, man.
Oh, I thought he was.
No, he can turkey hunt May 9th. So we're going to go camp out. That's a Saturday.
Oh, okay.
This year. So we're going to camp out May 8th. He'll wake up. He'll wake up a legal turkey hunter.
Cool.
And
was it killing him while you were out there hunting?
Say it again.
Was it killing him that he was only weeks away, but he couldn't go, or is he pretty good with that?
No, he was fine. No, he was with me. Yeah, we got a turkey together. But yeah, he'd like to get to hunting, but he needs to do a better job of developing his patience.
Well, he's 10. You know?
He just he wants a lot of gobbles, and he wants them now, man. Wants them now.
Well, your kids will score. Obviously, my daughter Kelsey just got her first turkey yesterday. She lives over by Midland. Her husband works for you know who the Kiefer brothers are. Rusted Rooster. You know they're like an outdoor.
Oh, the media guys. Her husband works for those guys?
Yeah, he's a videographer, and now he's editing for him.
Oh.
So, but yeah, he took her out last year, and they tried to do the 1, 2, 3 on 2 turkeys. So you know how that worked out.
Yeah, oftentimes it means 1, 2, 0.
That's exactly how it worked out. And he's one of these. He's another one that you know I say huge deer hunter, and somebody said, "How huge is he?" But he's one of them guys with the ozone locker for his clothes, just all the gear. And Kelsey's like, no, I kind of grew up with my dad. We just went out and grabbed a shotgun and we just hunted. Why do we have to not smell? You know what I mean?
He doesn't use ozone box for turkey hunting clothes.
No. But that's the kind of hunter he is. So the turkey hunting, he's like, you can't move, you can't sneeze, you can't do, but there's no birds on the ground yet. And so basically,
but I'd like to hunt with them because that's how I feel, man. I don't like anyone moving. I don't like anyone doing anything. And I'll tell you what, my kid actually we still got it, but he actually spooked the turkey by moving.
Did he really?
Yep. Every so slight movement.
Well, I sat out yesterday, but I was smoking a cigar and drinking a cup of coffee.
In a blind or not?
No, on the ground, right behind my house on the pipeline. There's a bunch of them every morning just gobbling. So I'm like, I'm going to go out there. And,
Did you get one?
No, because I was smoking a cigar and drinking a thermos of coffee.
Yeah, they're sensitive to movement, man.
Yeah, but they're always, when I go down Katy Road, all I got to do is look up the pipeline and it's like, I don't know how to call, right? Not really. But I've been watching them, and they're always out around the same time, fanning and strutting about 100 yards off the Katy Road. So I thought, well, that's right behind Sue's studio, man. I'm just going to sit back there. And I was hoping they would just, walk through is what I was doing.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I wasn't – when my neighbor said the one good thing was I wasn't scaring them away with shitty calling.
Yeah.
But I probably wasn't doing them any favors by, puffing on I don't think they wouldn't smell the cigar, but I mean, putting it to my mouth and sipping on a cup of coffee, sitting on a pad, it's just.
So you guys are allowed to hunt turkeys right now.
Oh yeah, it opened Saturday.
But you have a lot of other restrictions. The other day someone, because I was from Michigan. The other day a guy was asking, how people are so. Michigan, people are kind of coming unglued about the travel restrictions and church restrictions and stuff.
Yeah.
I was telling them that, people in Michigan get riled up, man. I was remembering back to the Michigan militia.
Oh, God,
people get to watch it. It's a long winter. They get bored of TV and they just get riled up, man.
I got a couple things I threw on here that I wanted to cover, and one of them was Twin Lake then and now. That was one of the things I wrote here. So I remember when I moved here, and you'd have been, I don't know how old you were. I moved here 30 years ago. You were 14 or 15 or whatever. I had my property here when you were younger, but when I moved here with the twins, and I always tried, this place never kind of changes. We still got the one dumpy restaurant and the one dumpy bar and the one old store that's...
Yeah, but that restaurant changed. I worked at it when the restaurant changes because it changes names.
I
worked at it when it was Steiner's Point, but we still called it whatever the hell it is.
There was one before that, yeah. And then it was Tim and Tom's, and now it's El Amaso. It's Mexican restaurant.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Tim and Tom's. Yeah,
Tim and Tom's,
I was telling my kids the other day I've had 4 jobs where one of my where mopping was one of my. They got this book.
Mopping?
Yeah, they have this book called Dino Trucks, and in the end there's this. It's hard to explain, but in the end there's a dude mopping a floor, and there's a big T-Rex, a big Dino Trucks, Tyrannosaurus Trucks. Is going to eat them in a museum at night. And so we always talk about the mop man in the end of the book. And I was telling him how I've had 4 jobs in my life where one of my primary responsibilities was mopping.
Well, one would be the Boy Scout camp, probably.
One Boy Scout camp, one regular band camp. And then I was telling them about mopping at Steiner's Point.
You've had some glamorous jobs.
Yeah, and I had another mopping job in grad school. So yeah, I was telling them I was telling them steer clear. I tell them
steer clear to mop.
It's okay to mop now and then, but just in general, try to steer clear of mopping.
It's not going to probably lead you to the best position in life.
Mopping is a pathway. It's a pathway to something else.
But you don't want to find out what it's the pathway to.
No, I mean in life, man. There's a part of life that involves mopping, but don't have it be your long game.
I was thinking of something else, but I'm not going to say it. So I'm thinking like a Twin Lake, and I go down these roads, I go around the lakes, I go by your mom's house, and nothing other than getting a dollar store, which they could grow out of a concrete, parking lot. Nothing. I mean, the same 6 buildings of commerce are still here that were here probably when you were born. I mean, other than a Dollar General store.
John's Market changed.
But it's still there. It's still there. It's still a market. You know what I mean? There's never been anything that's like upper. I don't want to say upper class, like you have to make $100,000 to enjoy it, but like I would even call like. It's always felt to me, coming from Chicago in a lower middle class neighborhood, this always felt like a rural Chicago. Like, well, everybody here really doesn't have that much money here. It's kind of poor around here. But I don't think there's a lot of poor people, but it feels poor. I don't know. If and so my thought was, I was going down Riley Thompson Road the other day, and I said, I wonder if it's because we have a racetrack. It always
like that. Just something about it just.
There's always
sort of just drives.
Yeah,
I think, but is it an enduro track or you talking about Thunderbird racing?
Thunderbird, the one. Oh my God, that thing's Thunderbird. We'll be sitting in the backyard, and all of a sudden on a Saturday night, it goes on for an hour, and I'm like, why do I live near this place?
There's a couple things to think about with this, though. In America, our poor are the global rich.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Right.
But also keep this in mind. I mean, how poor are you? If, like, you own a couple cars, you have property, people got boats, you live by lakes. It's like I didn't.
Did you feel like you were like lower middle class when you lived here?
No, I felt like I was torn between the two. I felt like because we had what I regarded to be a nice house.
Yeah.
And we had like boats and
but not
like
fancy, nothing
sort of like
fancy though.
Weird old house kind of falling apart. But it was like a big, spacious house on a beautiful property.
Yeah.
And we always had boats and cars. Like we had all the stuff you need. But then that made me feel like we were well off. What made me feel poor is that my parents wouldn't get us the stuff we wanted. Or like we had to wear like tough skins, right? So other kids would get to wear regular clothes, but like we'd have to wear tough skins. Sometimes our mom would make us clothes. And then when she packed our lunch, we couldn't get like
the cool stuff.
Where you get the crackers and the cheese all in one plastic container.
Right.
Or you get single serving Doritos in a little Dorito bag. Like our mom would take some Joe Blow chips and put them in a little bag instead of getting like a thing where your mom bought like a bag of Doritos.
Right.
So other kids, like I was like Nate, like I talk about this all the time, like Nate Charlin, Stan Johnson, Steve Lozinski, all these kids would show up to school and they'd have like these whip ass lunches of it'd be like some chips, some cookies prepackaged, single serving cookies, and I'd get some just weird sandwich.
Right.
And some chips, right? And milk money. And I was like, dude. And I had to wear tough skins at school. And then when everybody had like Nikes.
Tough skins are what? The
Kangaroos.
fake jeans? Tough skins?
Yeah, with the reinforced knees.
What saves on patches?
I was always bummed out. But then later I look back and I'm like, oh no, we weren't poor. My mom and dad just weren't stupid.
Well, it's funny. As soon as you said mom and dad, not obviously to all my listeners or anything, but you got to meet my parents. I got to meet your parents way back in the day. And it was so funny that you were so much younger than me, coming out of high school, working for me. I'm already a dad with, 2 or 3 kids. Yet our dads were the same age. That was, your dad was in World War II. My dad was in World War II. And I don't know if, you said maybe maybe we weren't poor, maybe my parents weren't just stupid. It might have also been a little of that Depression area, that kind of frugalness. Like, no, we don't.
Yeah, my dad was quite a bit older than my mom.
Yeah, your mom would have been.
He had her by a good chunk of years. But
I
was effectively raised
by Depression era parents, kind of.
You might think of it like being raised by a grandparent. I was kind of like raised, like my dad was kind of a grandpa, right?
Yeah.
He was old enough. I had, well, in fact,
You had 3 older brothers.
His kids, yeah, he had kids from the first marriage, and they had kids that were older than me.
So you got nephews that are older than you.
Oh yeah, my brother, my oldest half brother. When my dad got home from World War II, he was my oldest half brother. When my dad got home after Germany's surrender,
Right.
my oldest half brother, when my dad walked in the door, he had never seen the kid. My dad walked in the door, and the kid is standing on a chair in the kitchen.
Oh, jeez.
And I was born in 1974.
Wow. 70,
So
40, let's just say, well, for math, 44, 54, 64, yeah, 40 year, almost 40 years difference.
yeah, and he's got kids.
He's prolific, oh man.
This guy, oh yeah, and that, my brother Frank has kids several years older than I am.
Yeah.
So I was, and then in the area where we grew up, as you know, like there was a lot of Vietnam veterans.
Yeah.
So many of my childhood friends' dads had served in Vietnam.
Right. And then your dad.
Then I was a World War II,
Right.
World War II kid.
Well, even growing up in Chicago, like I think it was about 50-50. Like I know like 2 of my buddies' dads were WW2, and David and Frank's, and I think Joe's were all Korean War. You know, they weren't even in that. But then I didn't, obviously, you know, there wasn't any dads of Vietnam vets. But yeah, and what a different. Well, we can't go down there. I think the Vietnam vets kids were all working at the Thunderbird racetrack for some reason, though. I don't know. I can't. I just can't get over this place. It just. It's like it never changes.
No, well, yes, you're right. Stuff changes names. Deer Park Funland became
Yeah,
Michigan
Adventureland.
Michigan's Adventure.
But it's still there on the corner.
Yeah.
You know,
we were supposed to have my mom's 80th birthday party early this summer, but we had to cancel it just because of
all the travel shit and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be too hard. And her husband's not, he's on oxygen. It would just be it'd be like horrible for him to get infected.
Oh God, yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's funny about, the thing is though, I could go back there and be I'd go back there and live there and be like totally happy, man. There's a lot of stuff to do there.
Oh God, yeah. They're and it's not far away. You can do a lot of shit. But that's what I mean. Like I've heard people tell me like, oh, when where I grew up, we used to duck hunt. Now it's all condos, and now it's all highway, and now it's like you said, you could come back here. You go right up Blue Lake Road. You go right over on Manistee and start hunting again.
Oh man,
same spot.
There's a lot of stuff that got destroyed. Like when I drive around with my wife and I'm back there, I'm like, man, we used to hunt there.
Oh.
And she's like, you act like this is surprising to you that over the course of
20, 15 years.
Of course of you're 46, like that over the course of your life, some shit would get built up. Like, how is this so shocking?
Well,
I mean, it's not as bad as it could be.
No, but it's kind
of bad as it could be. But a lot of stuff we used to walk out of the house and go do is built up now.
Yeah. There's a whole lot more houses here than it used to be,
and built up like not with a mind toward efficiency. Built up with individual people wanting extra space, and so it takes up a big footprint. That's a little bit like that's depressing to me when I go back home is the degree to the spreading out,
Yeah.
But there's still places you can go, and it's kind of funny watching the cycles that I didn't realize how high the water tables were when I was in high school. And it didn't occur to us that, we're always trapping muskrats and shooting ducks in places that got 10-inch diameter trees that are dead out in the middle of the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't occur to me to think, well, that thing didn't grow in the water.
Right. It's always been a dead tree out there.
I thought it had always been this way, right?
Yeah.
And then the water tables dropped for a long time. And then I would go home, and I'd be driving around with my wife or driving around with my kids, and I'd be like, can you believe it? Where all that grass is, we used to catch muskrats or shoot ducks in there. And then years go by, and now I go there and I'll tell a story like, we used to shoot, you see those muskrat huts? Like, we used to catch muskrats in there. Then it all dried up, and now it's back full of muskrats. And so it's interesting going back and getting these little snapshots of the way in which things gradually change. And then like I use this barometer of what the bluegill situation in my mom's lake is like, and that changes, and not like only for the better, or not for the worse or for the better. Like last summer, I think it was last summer, we had, and a lot of it's timing.
Sure.
But, we had some of the best, after some dismal years, we had like really great bluegill year. And it could be because I came home on the right week or whatever. And so you do see that these changes occur, but then it's also stunning the way things don't, that the Alibi Bar,
Yeah.
It's like you go there and you'd be surprised to see that they no longer have smelt on the menu, but then all of a sudden smelt are back on the menu. And those things kind of change the same. I think there's a mentality that remains constant, because you're not getting influxes of people coming from other areas that perhaps have like very different value systems, so it's like homegrown. It's a homegrown mentality.
Yeah, it never turned into a bedroom community from another town.
Yeah, it's like, it's not like a different people with a different set of ideals and a different moral compasses.
Yeah, I guess that's why it always feels the same.
Discover it and come there, you know?
Yeah.
Like you might be that if you lived in Saugatuck 80 years ago and then watch the community in Saugatuck change, where it's torn between being like it's torn between a gay community and a nursing home,
Never thought of that.
Once upon a time, it was like a place where people just lived, right? But that area, that Muskegon area, Twin Lake area, hasn't had that. It hasn't had like an influx of new people with new ideas about how to live their lives.
Yeah, that's why it's weird. Everything just feels. And what's weird is being home, like you said, being home for this much time. I've worked on the road my entire life, but I had spells where when we did jobs like at Parago and Grand Rapids, we weren't overnight, but we were, gone every day. But this is the longest I've been home now, like on my property, in 32 years. Like home every day, wake up. It's like Groundhog Day here. And then on top of that, it's like, and then nothing ever changes anyway around Twin Lake. And I'm like, am I in a dream? Is this, am I Bill Murray? And then immediately, I don't know if this happened to you with this thing. It's always hard because you got young kids. But, what was one of the sayings I always said to you, and it always pisses you off? What do I say when it comes to sleep? How many times?
Just something stupid about
I
sleep.
I always said you can sleep when you're dead, right? You don't need to go to sleep. You guys are always taking naps.
You know what? You can sleep when you got dementia from having not slept enough.
Well, thank you for that. But
I had this conversation with someone the other day, man. I'm just, I understand. Like it is. I wish that I didn't need to, but I just need to. But go on.
No. So, but since this shutdown thing, which I wanted to retire anyway, like I was hoping that, Sue turned 65 in December, so she goes on Medicaid, Medicare, and cuts our insurance down, and everything's fine. So I wanted to retire in January, and like this thing just basically forced me to do it, right? But from day one, from when I knew I didn't have a job to do, I didn't have to get tools put together, knew I didn't have to drive somewhere, I'm going to bed at 11 o'clock and getting up. I'm getting 8 hours sleep a night.
Mm-hmm.
That's
good for you, man.
I guess it is, but it's like I cannot believe if I did need those other 2 hours all those years. You're right. I'm gonna be Joe Biden here in another 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I used to live on literally probably 5 hours sleep a night, and then 6. Like if I averaged it. And then you know how much beer I drink. I mean, I don't go to bed. Nowadays I do, but for all those years you worked for me, and all the years, while you were out and growing and starting, I drank beer right up until I went to bed. Like so, now it's 2 beers, go to bed early and sleep in. I'm all fucked up here.
There's some things. There's a lot of things that are confusing. Right, there's a lot of contradictory stuff out there about health and wellness. You got people talking about how much ass they kick on an all-meat diet. You got people talking about how much ass they kick on a vegan diet, right? There's like a lot of contradictory things out there. But I would challenge someone to go and find any evidence suggesting that it's advantageous over the course of a lifetime, that it's advantageous to not get adequate sleep. Or not, I don't want to use the word adequate because that's loaded. To find some kind of evidence that it's advantageous to get 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. Like to demonstrate to me the upside, rather than you have a longer day and might get more done, but then what kind of lifetime cost does that come at?
Yeah.
I've been sleeping a lot during the quarantine, and I'll tell you why I've been sleeping a lot during the quarantine. In as much as it's calculated, the portion of it that's calculated, it's calculated because if I am hungover or if I'm hungover and or not well rested, I'm impatient with my children.
So you just recognize that. Yeah.
It's just true.
Yeah.
I blow up on them. I freak out on them.
I didn't know that. That's terrible.
I can't handle.
You rotten father.
I'm a neat freak anyway. It becomes. I'm a neat. Like I embrace a lot of it. Like I'm not apologetic about the fact that I'm a neat freak, and I think that there's a lot. Like I think peace of mind, and like the stillness that comes from having your shit dialed.
Right.
There's something there, right?
I think so. I mean, I've never admired anybody that was like me, like flying by the seat of my pants. I've never recommended it. I've always been envious of the guy who had the time to vacuum his car, and you go in his garage, and he knows where the wrench is.
You're like, if I could
be that guy, I'd be that guy.
Shake a wand and have it be that was true.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
I want Barbara Eden to just, fold her arms and dink, and make my garage perfect. But
so the sleeping thing is once I knew that we were in, and I envisioned this. I don't want to downplay how hard this is on people because there's people losing loved ones, suffering immeasurably, and healthcare workers and.
There's going to be it's a mess. It's a mess.
Massive amounts of suffering and trouble. An economic thing. So I don't want this to sound callous when I say this, but when I envisioned coming home from Mexico and I envisioned what this might be like for us to go into like a quarantine.
Right.
I was just in a very personal way, I was very nervous about what it would look like. And what it would look like for our family, the stress levels, tensions, how the kids would take it. And just as an isolated thing, like as a very isolated unit of people, right? When you strip it away from all the outer context, but just like our situation in our home as an isolated group of people, I feel that we have done shockingly well.
You mean as your family group?
As our, stripped away of any external stuff. Like
right.
We've done well with it.
Right.
And a part of that has been,
getting a good night's sleep and not waking up hungover.
Dude, not being hungover, not being tired.
Boy,
because I feel like it's been a couple of days. I feel like I would have come unglued.
So here's the gig on this. Someday, Steve gets interviewed all his life for all of his credentials, and he said, Steve, and Steve's 85 years old. What was the secret to life, Steve? And you're going, get plenty of sleep and try not to wake up hungover. That's it.
That I realized it took me to be into my 40s to realize it, but I think there's something there. I wouldn't change anything though. I loved all the years that I drank. It was always fun.
I still do.
I recommend it.
I cannot. I just quit smoking again a month ago. When the quarantine started, and you know how much I smoked, right? I could, I didn't smoke all the years you knew me and worked for me, but late in life, I decided to pick up cigarettes again, and we'll start with the little Swisher Sweets, and then it went to full blown, just buying, L&M's by the carton.
Yeah, because you everything you do, you have to do in extremes.
I do. I mean, even when whatever I do with the dogs, with anything.
No, I appreciate it.
I can't. It's like you can't help but being a neat freak. And I remember the one trip. I'm going to go way off the rail here, but one trip I think we were hunting in Texas on the crane hunt, and I put all the shells in the door pocket. You were like, "Jesus, what? That's not a shell pouch, man. Ron." I just dumped the shells in there. I'm like, well, that's where they can go for now. And I could just see you. You're just like, "That's not a shell pouch, Ron." Like,
yeah, you wind up trying to cram a cigar butt into your into your shotgun.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, see, I told you I was going to go off the rail there, and I forgot what we were talking about. God damn it. Well, as long as I lost the focus of that conversation on us, I asked a couple people, and I got all the stupid questions. I know I shouldn't say stupid, but when people ask you questions, they're like, "Hey, Steve, what's the weirdest thing you ever ate?" So I sorted out all of them. The only two questions I got from any of my listeners that obviously there's some crossover with, people who listen to you, follow you, and what have you. The one was, and I'm asking this, I was glad he asked it. I don't think I would have. But out of the hunts that you and I have been on, either it doesn't matter if it was, doing a show or not doing a show. So ask Steve what his favorite hunt with you was. And I'm like, good question. I don't know if he'd actually have a favorite or if he could even remember them all.
No, I've had hanging out at the fish shack's fun, and then bear hunt was fun. I think the crane hunt was a ton of fun.
Yeah, I was thinking myself, when I thought about it, I thought it was the black bear hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the most, it wasn't that hard of working, or it wasn't that hard of a hunt or anything, but
no, you couldn't walk anywhere if you wanted to, really.
Right. Exactly. You're just in the boat all the time. And I've used that story. I did it for a Filson or a BHA talk. Of course, I tell my version of the story when we snuck up on the bear and we're kind of whispering, and you're saying run, and I thought you were saying Ron, and you're going, Ron. And I'm like, what? And I'm stopping, and you're like, you're in the back of the boat, and you're just shaking your head, and you're all pissed. But that was, when I put all the inflection with about 6 beers in me into that story, I could bring the house down with that one.
No, it was great, man. It was good.
What? So, all right, I'll tell him that the black bear hunt, what was that one for? Field and Stream or Outdoor Life or something?
That's too hard of a question.
Well,
sometimes, I don't know. I'm just thinking, we've been out doing a lot of stuff over the years. I'm just thinking the stuff we filmed, but then I confuse it. The reason it's a hard question is because I think the stuff we filmed, and then it's hard for me to separate out.
Was that filmed hunt or was that not a filmed hunt or something?
No. I mean, what's hard to separate out is the trip for me in a lot of ways. I wind up becoming so familiar with the episode that we work on, just that the packaged piece of media that we make.
Yeah,
that I wind up, and it's a trick of the memory. It's like I wind up the trip in some ways like that when it's a work trip and we're filming. Whether or not how much I like the trip, a lot of it depends on how well the episode turned out.
Really?
Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's horrible, but it winds up being that you, when you go out and that's your primary, your sort of reason for being there, right? I mean, there's always the thing being there, why you did it in the first place.
Yeah.
You enjoy it. But you wind up being very aware of making a show.
Right.
And, you're gone for 4 days or 5 days, whatever, and you have a great time. But then you come home and for months you sort of struggle with this thing and try to, wrestle it into like a good episode.
Yeah.
Get rid of find the parts that work together and the parts that don't. And you have just sometimes hundreds of hours of footage. And maybe that's a lie. Maybe not, man. A lot of footage.
Yeah, probably not hundreds of hours. There's only 2,000 hours.
Cameras, right? So
yeah. There is. It's true. Yeah, in 5 days, yeah, you could have 100 hours.
And then all of a sudden, it's 22 minutes long,
mm-hmm.
and that takes a lot of effort. And so you'll wind up when you review things like work trips where we're filming, I tend to have, people say like, hey, did you take any pictures on your trip? I'd be like, we took a TV show on our trip. And I sort of remember the trip as the show. And so we were talking last night.
Oh yeah, I see.
We were driving home. I can't remember how it came up. We were talking about how funny it was on that dove episode where you got stung by the bee, right? So I just noticed I would have known it happened if it wasn't filmed. I wasn't standing there.
Right.
So that is like a part of my trip. Even though I was like, it's part of my trip because it's like a really funny favorite moment of mine.
Right.
And I wasn't even next to you. I just know it from the footage.
Right. I see what you're saying. And I do remember one time I asked you, because you would always be, I don't want to say nice enough, but you had the ability to send me, like when we do a show, as long as I just kept it to myself, you would send me like I forget what you called it, not the final cut, but kind of like almost what the show was going to look like without commercials.
Yeah, we have all these terms for how it works. Like
and one time
fine cut, pick lock.
Yeah, fine cut, I think is what it used to say on the tag on the thing. But the one time
what they haven't done at that point is like the audio might not be right and it's very color corrected.
But it's pretty close.
But it's getting close. Close.
And I remember one time there was even like a gap where there was a commercial and then it would just go black, But anyway, the one time I'm always, I would always try to be probably not as impatient as Jimmy when it comes to turkey calling, but I'd be like, I'd give you about 2 months, like, Steve, is into that video ready? No, Ron. A couple months later, hey, Steve. All right, yeah, I think we might have it ready. And the one time I called you up, and I don't remember what hunt it was from. You said, no, it's just all messed up. No matter what we do, it's just not making a good story. And I was like, fuck, he's going to shit can that one. I was so...
What one was that?
I think it was from the sage grouse hunt.
But that one up coming together. Sometimes they come together good, and sometimes they come together hard.
I just remember
I thought that turned out good.
I loved that episode, and I thought it was
when you're filming them, you can just picture it, right? Like as the trip plays out, you can just imagine the act structure.
Yeah.
When we did the dove hunt, it's like everything you're doing, you're like, oh yeah, perfect.
The dove hunt didn't like when you guys released the dove hunt. It looked like it felt just like it did as we did it. You know what I mean? Because it was exactly
almost
chronological order of how the sometimes the third day and the first day are all on the same day, Yep.
We almost do what we would call it. We almost shot for the edit.
Yeah. I can see what you mean.
And that's the thing that happens where that's an interesting thing that goes on in making a show because the this is gonna sound weird. The less challenging a trip is, the less challenging the quest is.
Right.
The easier it is to put the show together.
So really, the easier the hunt, the easier it is to put a show about together.
Because when you're going to do something, if you're going to do something where the question is more like how many and not if, it's just different.
Right.
It's like plug and play. You know? We can sort of map out, like if we're going to go out, for instance, let's say we're going to go out and we're going to set limb lines or bank poles for catfish.
Right.
And you're allowed to put out 60 bank poles, right? And it's the best time of year to go for catfish. And you go into, you're going to get catfish.
Right.
And we're going with a buddy, and he's like, oh, yeah, man, we're going to get bait. We're going to put out all these things. Then I got a squirrel spot I haven't touched yet this year. It's perfect. I was down there the other day. Tons of squirrels. We know what we're going to do. Like, we know the food stuff we're going to focus on. And when you're filming, you're just like, it's almost, you're like filming for the edit, You're getting all the components, and you can just watch. It's just like bam, 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 bam. And you just line it out.
Yeah.
And it's fun because there's not the worry. Then you go on some crazy quest type thing, like we're going to go hunt doll sheep.
Right.
And we got 10 days to wander around the mountains. And when you go 4 days and you're sitting in the fog, and having, right, and you can't even really do anything. You can try stuff, but you just know what's going to happen.
Yeah, no good's coming
You
of
got
it.
100-yard visibility. You try to spot a white sheep from 2 miles away in the white fog. Days burn up, and you're not seeing the show click into place.
Right.
And then it winds up being what might normally be a ton of fun to be on becomes nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
From a production standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I care a lot about it, right? I'm not like I care a lot about it. I can't even run around and pretend that I don't.
Right.
That I don't care. Like I care a lot about having it, making a good product. I don't care about success on the hunt. I do, but I care more about making a thing that's going to entertain people. And when it becomes hard to imagine that, then things change. So when I look at like fun trips, oftentimes I'm picking out the ones, unless they're just like such a grueling suffer fest that it's kind of funny, then I'll like remember those.
Right.
But the ones that are fun to me are the ones where you're like, oh yeah, I can picture it. This will be cool. This will be a good show.
Yeah, it's almost like the dove hunt. Almost like I could have edited that one. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was just
sure, man.
it was just there. Yeah. The only unknown was if the pigeons would come in, and obviously the pigeons cooperated. I'd never done it there, but that wouldn't have changed the show at all. It would have been a piece of cake.
But I'm a results oriented person. So even this weekend, I took my 3 kids, and we left on Friday and camped out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. And,
Katie go with you?
No,
just the kids.
And she'll come out with us in a couple weeks. We'll go again. But doing that, they're fine. They're having a good time, busting rocks with the back of an axe and doing whatever they do. But I very much am like very results driven, and I want them to see this stuff play out. Right. I want them to like do it. And so I have this tendency of wanting to grind it out, and maybe even grind it out to a point to make it where it's not fun for the people around me. But I'm focused on a certain result.
Mm-hmm. Did you get a camper?
No, I borrowed my buddy's pop-up.
Oh, okay. So you had something for a somewhat solid roof for the kids.
Last year we all went. It was on Easter. I remember it was raining like holy hell. We're in a tent. We set up an Easter egg hunt. And then damn, those eggs leak. I didn't realize that. And all the chocolate in there is just like sitting out in the rain all night. All the candy inside the Easter eggs is all wet and melted.
Another great
idea. I was like, dude, next year when we come back to the spot, I'm bringing some kind of contraption just to keep everybody out of the rain. It's tough with little kids.
Yeah, we had a pop up. We had a pop up when the kids were small, and our neighbors, the Zals, had a hard top, like the travel trailer. Yeah. And we went to a campground with it, and of course there was a part of that too where it's like the kids all want to go in the big camper, right? And four kids don't want to be in a pop-up camper, so they're going to play in that camper. And then wind starts blowing that night, and I got the two ends sticking out, and we got 3 of them stuck on one side and me and Sue on the other. The rain's coming down, the wind's blowing, and they all left me. Sue and the kids all went into the hardtop camper, and they made room for everybody, and they slept on floors. And I laid out there feeling so dejected because I decided I was going to kind of rough it with a pop-up, And
I was thinking about getting a pop-up.
Don't.
But I made the decision this weekend that it just felt like it wasn't a great high wind rig.
No, if you're going to get a camper, get a camper. Don't.
Yeah, no, don't. So I'm back to that. I was there. Then I was like, man, there's like a lot of selling. My buddy loves his pop-up. He likes it for a bunch of reasons. He can take that thing anywhere.
Sure.
And there's a lot of selling points, but then I kind of like. I'm glad I borrowed it. So I'm leaning back into the camper. The problem is we had one too many children. There's a lot of campers rigged up for 4 people. I don't get it. But they discriminate against families of 5.
Well, it's probably because the national average is like 1.6 kids or something. Probably.
I know. I need to find some kind of camper company out of Utah that makes campers for big families, man.
The Mormon Tabernacle Camper Company.
I know, like someone that's thinking about people with too many children.
I told you that one in Virginia you could have for cheap, but
is that still sitting there?
I in the middle of cleaning it up, But that's a real long one, you know. But if you're only going to an easy campground, it's way.
No. I need to like at least maintain the.
Yeah.
I need to at least maintain the fiction that I can do like hardcore shit with my camper.
Right. No, this one you want to pull into, you know, campgrounds, you know. It's
even if I never do, I want to like be able to have it in my mind that I could, which is important to people. Like people like to feel rigged up. There's a trend around hereabouts where I live. It's very fashionable to strap a bunch of shit to the outside of your truck. Like shit that you normally keep in your truck, people now strap to the outside.
So what's the purpose? So they know
just so you look badass.
So you mean like those Explorer Jeeps with shovels and stuff and jerry cans on the outside?
Have, like, pickaxe, like you get yourself a shovel and a pickaxe and a water jug and hook it all to the outside of your rig.
I bet you them same people are driving that rig with flip-flops on.
Oh yeah, no, it's like getting a certain style of haircut. It's like it's like aesthetics. Aesthetics.
You know, it's something else I keep hearing like.
But people like to be able to feel ready to rock.
I do appreciate it when I hear you from time to time say, my buddy Ronnie on your podcast, and it's always about the flip-flops. And you had somebody on the other day that was like, I have to give that some thought, you know? and I'm just like, anytime you get on that subject, I'm yelling at the radio, call me, Steve. Next time you're recording a pod, just call me. Because
just so I don't have to paraphrase it.
Well, because you always kind of ass it up a little bit. You always say, like, Ronnie's thinking, like, you know, if there's lava, you're going to be able to save.
Well, I didn't make this up. That's your point. That was your primary.
Well, I think I said hot oil. like if you're on a street and this truck dumped over and hot fucking oil's running down the street and you got to run across the street to save your kids, you ain't doing it in a pair of flip-flops.
No,
I don't remember using lava because I don't think I'd be anywhere near a volcano.
We get a lot of mileage out of that conversation because we get a lot of reader or listener emails talking about how their flip-flops did or did not perform in various in various dangerous situations, man.
Watch me bring this one around together,
and the
as
verdict
you say.
Is not out. Like the verdict is not.
The
out.
verdict
Like,
is out. No.
The verdict is. What's it mean when the verdict is in?
Yeah.
Flip-flops are not. They're not ready
safe
for anything shoes.
No, exactly. The verdict is.
You can strap all the shovels to the outside of your truck that you want, but the minute you got to put your flip-flops on, you're not ready for action.
Exactly. What are you gonna do? Help them put out a forest fire on a trail with flip-flops on?
No, you're not ready for action.
You're not ready.
I mean, it's changed it because I really like them, but I still have a couple pairs.
Yeah.
I have a genuine pair. Now my Crocs, I wear Crocs a lot.
That's wrong too, though.
No, it's not. When I put the adventure strap down on those, I'm ready for action.
When you put the you flip the heel strap back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I'm ready for action. But I have a pair of Crocs flip-flops, and I do not feel ready for action in those flip-flops.
No, I'm glad to hear that because the world. I've noticed you over. Obviously, I've. Besides being buddies for a long time, I was there back at your early book signings when there's 12 people there and
No, don't remind me.
Oh no, I think people could.
That's a hard book signing to do.
You had one in Grand Rapids one time. You called me up and said,
"Oh, dude, yeah,
Ronnie, can you come out?" I'm sure you had to go all over the country doing that. You had to find friends everywhere. Like, come out to this book signing and somewhere along the line, ask me a question. And I'm like,
dude, I've learned to even see it now. It's so bad. It's so hard to do. It's like looking back on it. It's misery. It's misery. And now and then I'll go to a book signing now, and then when I'm there and I realize the author has like some kind of loose connection to everyone there. Mm-hmm. I just have a lot of empathy for him, man. It's tough to do. It's tough and that world's changed a lot, Yeah, it's a really vulnerable feeling, man. It's a really vulnerable feeling to go and be in that situation.
I literally used to feel sorry for you. I would drive or whenever you were, I would just be like, No problem, Steve. I'll show up. If I could bring my wife or a kid for a second person, because you're like the Maytag repairman, in a sense. You're like, everybody, this guy just wrote this great book, and not a person in that bookstore wants to sit down and listen to you read. I mean, you'd always have a few, but I just.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, when you weeded out the people you kind of knew, and then you weeded out just sort of the weird people that hang out in the bookstore, and they're just sitting there because they're just there.
Yeah.
They kind of live there.
Yeah, you might as well knocking on doors.
The person who works at the bookstore, and they feel so bad that they're sitting there, and you realize there's one person that heard you on some NPR interview. It's horrible.
It's just like being a Jehovah's Witness knocking on doors.
Yeah. It's horrible, man. And no desire to go back to that. If anything, I have. If anything, I have like this creeping, emergent tendency to want to someday crawl into I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday, and he's in the process of doing it. Like, he's actively in the process of trying to crawl into a deep, dark hole. And rather than when faced with the old days of trying to go out and promote a book, oh man.
It would suck. So that's where this last question, the only two questions I wanted to ask you, and then the rest is just bullshit session. But one listener wrote, and maybe this guy is a writer, maybe he wants to make, I don't have any background on this question.
Yeah.
But his question was, ask Steve when he knew he made it. Like you felt like, I mean, I always relate it to Joe Rogan. I used to listen to his that's how I first thought about podcasts, because you got on his show a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I always remember him always saying, like, when he got his first contract, he felt like, wow, I can make my car payment, my rent, and I'm not worried. Like, so they want to know, when do you feel like you first made it?
A bunch of times.
Okay.
Seriously, when I sold my first story to Outside, and it published in June 2000. I think I sold it to him around April, May. So no, I don't know, March, sometime this winter, late winter.
Yeah.
They bought it, and I sold them an article. Yeah, I sold them an article for $4,000, and had like a just. But I didn't feel like I made it. But it was like, that was probably, honestly, that was the happiest couple of days of my life.
Right. That was the first big wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then selling my first book didn't make me feel that way. Selling my second book made me feel that way. But it all, like, even like selling the article, then it comes with the down, right? Like the apprehension. Selling the second book was kind of, there's this thing that's I think it's attributed to Woody Allen, but I don't know if it's actually Woody Allen. I should just change it now that he's sort of fallen from favor. But Woody Allen had said something like, as long as your movies are good enough that they let you make another movie. Maybe he never even said that, but you get the gist of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That, that his movies always did just good enough that they let him do another one. So, selling the second book, and my first book didn't do well. It's had a long life now, but at the time, it didn't do well upon its launch. And my second book, I earned royalties on that book now, man. That book, like, it did well. And that gave me a good feeling. I think the next thing that'll have to happen would be that, and I also remember when I quit doing tree work, when I quit doing any kind of, when I quit the trades, when I was just done with the trades altogether. And I could just kind of and I knew I could make my way. I still have nightmares. Like, I still have these like nightmares that I need to go back and go back into odd jobs. But then now it'll be that my kids, like, that I grow up and get my kids out of the house. Because then I think, like, honestly, if I can do that, doing what I do now, and get my kids out of the house, I honestly don't care what happens to me.
Right.
At least right now. Like, I really don't care. If I need, I'd go out and live in my brother's house in Miles City. Once I get this taken care of, this whole kid thing.
You'd be fine.
Just like I said, deep, dark hole.
So you've made it several times, and you got one more. I'll make it.
I
ahead of
got
you.
one more hurdle, but my youngest is 5, so this is a ways
Oh,
out. But
God.
yeah, when he's out of the house, I could picture the deep dark hole scenario.
Yeah, hang on a second. I got to let a dog out here. This is going to be no. You know what? I'll just hit the pause. Let me go to my control board, Steve. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Dogs are out. Miller likes to always about an hour into something, he starts pacing and he starts howling. I don't know why.
About like me.
Yeah. Well, I got you for just a little bit more. So, you have become a dog owner, which shocked the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I resisted it so hard. But my kids were going to move out. They couldn't get a dog. They were going to go get like their own house.
Nice.
And my wife really started wanting a dog bad. I don't know what happened. She just changed. And I was like, man, I don't want to get a dog. Dude, I love this little dog. It's the nicest little dog in the world. I like this little dog.
Yeah. But it's a whole nother kid to take care of, kind of.
Yeah, but because I didn't want it. No one relies. I don't do anything.
Oh, you're holding the line like if you want it, you better feed it and walk it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't pick up the droppings. I don't feed it. No, it's theirs. I enjoy its presence. I enjoy it being around. It likes me, but doesn't feel inclined to listen to me. It's more like very like it thinks of itself as being my wife's dog. Right.
So who drove the bus on it? Katie and the kids, literally? They're like,
oh, yeah.
You said, okay, go do it?
I did not. I was very, very resistant.
Right. And then,
very resistant.
What was funny is you and Yanni both, did you get them at the same time, or would you both cave in at the same time, or did the wives tag team on you?
You know how it is, man. Kids get like the age, they want a damn dog. And then me getting a dog, then Yanni's kids were like, you know. But it's different with Yanni because he was kind of wanting a dog personally, I think.
Okay.
I did not. But I was becoming the point where one person, it's a family of 5, and like there's one person sort of blocking the will. You know, there's 4 people who clearly want something and they understand it and want it, and there's one person who doesn't want it and they don't really have a clearly articulated reason why they don't want it. It just seems annoying to them, and after a while, you wind up being in an untenable position. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because they're like, why? And they're like, it just seems annoying.
There's just no more whys. Like,
and after a while, no one really cared anymore.
So what's the dog's name?
Funny. So then I was like, my wife's out of town. I take the kids down to the dog pound, and we take a look, and I don't know, we look at 2-3 dogs, and we find one. I'm like, all right, we'll get this one. That's fine. So tell them like, well, I can't bring it home right now because my wife's out of town. She's got to come down and check it out. And so she goes down there and doesn't want that one. Picks out a different one. Picks out a whole different one. And this one's, great little dog. Super nice.
Okay. Now that you are you're not I won't call you the dog owner. You just happen to have a dog living with you.
Oh, yeah, we have a dog.
Yeah, you have a dog. And you kind of joined like middle America.
And I like it. It's been I'll tell you what, well-timed. Because with the quarantine.
Yeah.
A very well-timed dog acquisition. Unintentional, but unintentional. So I don't want to say well-timed, like fortuitous timing.
Fortuitous. Okay.
On the dog acquisition front.
So I've got a little canine quiz I put together for you.
Oh, all
so
right.
You should know like some things.
Is this particular to my dog?
No, actually it's not because I never met.
What breed is it? I'll have to be like, we don't know.
No. No, I saw the pictures of it. I don't know what breed that is either.
Everyone likes my sister-in-law has the best guess. She thinks there's some river otter mixed in.
I won't doubt it. I won't. There's a lot of dogs I wonder what's mixed in with them. So shit. Yeah, that dog just looks like, that dog actually kind of looks like, what they say is if dogs just breed, they kind of go back to that color, that kind of ear set, the tail.
Depends on the area, man.
Well, yeah.
Like there's a look, you go into Mexico, right?
Right.
There's a thing that all the dogs turn into.
You're right. Same thing in Africa and Australia and stuff.
In Asia, like the dogs turn into, there's like a little, like the dogs just turn into a kind of thing, and there's like some variations. But yeah, I think that this dog is sort of like what dogs turn into on a certain reservation in Montana.
Yep, exactly. Like if you were in Lewis and Clark, that dog looks like the Indians would have had it.
Yeah, could be.
All
we
right,
know
so
someone else that got a dog from that came out of that same reservation. Their dog looks just like our damn dog.
really,
No.
Shit. Okay, put your thinking cap on, Steve. Now
I'm ready.
I've always said to people, like obviously I'm not trying to pat you on the back, but a lot of people that will meet me at like Pheasant Fest or they'll see me on a show like, what's Steve really like? What? I'm like, hey, he's a good friend. He likes to argue. He should have been a lawyer. I tell him the same things all the time, But you are really well read. I mean, you really are. I don't know how you even squeeze all that in with everything else.
Well, I think I would agree that I used to be, but I don't know that I am anymore. But go on.
But, okay, think about toddlers. And you've had 3 of them now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any toddlers anymore. Okay, what game would toddlers, human toddlers, and puppies, or you could say even dogs, enjoy at the same, like what common game you could play at home with your toddler and you could also play with your dog?
Where you test their understanding of object permanence?
Object permanence, place. It's kind of like, it's one of them games that I think everybody always played with their kid. You didn't need any props for it. There was always something in the house that you could do this with your kid. At a certain age, and the kid just laughs when you. Okay, it's called hide and seek.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Object. Well, that's what kind of object permanence.
Okay, so now you can tell people that
like that where your kid one day when a kid's really little and you take something that they want, you put it under a pillow.
Yeah, and they find it.
It ceases to exist.
Yep.
And then there's the day they go like, oh, I get it. It didn't cease to exist.
Right.
It's just out of my view.
Yeah. So these will be you'll use these at dinner parties someday. Okay. All right. What dog is named after a region in Mexico? Very common dog. And you hunt in Mexico.
Chihuahua.
There you go. Bing. See? Now you're at 50%. This is I'll set it up. This is a less than 10, more than 10, or more than 50 answer. The Bible mentions dogs how many times? More than 10?
Oh, you're kidding me, man.
More than 50 or more than 100?
Hold on, give me the numbers again.
Okay, 0 to 50, 50 to 100, or 100 or more.
Oh.
The Bible mentions dogs that many times.
Oh, dude, this is tough because I can picture it going both directions.
Mm-hmm.
It mentions asses and mules a lot.
Well, when I picked this one, I was like, I guess I never read the Bible much. I didn't know. I didn't know the answer.
Asses and mules, like Christ would use. He'd discuss asses and mules in the parables.
Yeah.
Dogs. Huh. I don't think it's the middle one, man.
This is like Lifeline. Okay, you throw out the middle one. You're still in the game.
Oh, this is a tough one.
So it's under 50 or over 100.
Well, hold on. The first one was 0 to 50?
Yeah. And then the next one was, it mentioned it from 50 to 100 times, or were dogs mentioned over 100 times? So you already threw out the middle one.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I got a copy of the good book here on my shelf.
We don't have that much time, Steve. I'm sure you have another appointment in 12 and 18 minutes. So
dogs in the
Bible.
Damn. Yeah. Here's the problem, man. I can't think of a single. I can't think of a single dog story.
Okay, then go with what your gut says.
0 to zero to the next, the first bracket.
Right. It is. And I was shocked at this. 35 times it's mentioned in the Bible. I don't know where they are. I don't have the passages. I did not even know that dogs were mentioned in the Bible. So I thought that's another piece for your.
Lions.
Oh, yeah.
Lions are in there a bunch.
Sheep,
Snakes
all
are in
kinds
there
of
a
sheep,
bunch.
camels.
Mules and asses.
Right. All right, this one doesn't take your.
Or just asses, maybe. Maybe just jackasses.
Just jackasses. All right, this one does not take your any biblical knowledge to get this one. Dude,
I misquoted the Bible to someone the other day, and they knew right away that I was not right. I was like, well, that's what I thought. But go ahead.
Okay, a dog's sense of smell is how many times stronger than a human? And I'm just going to give you 3 options.
Well, isn't this like?
This is very general. Yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't it? But it has to be certain compounds, right? Because I think that we can smell sulfur like ridiculously well.
Right. I think you just have to take it as an average over all the smells, like the ability of a dog to search for things that we can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Throw some numbers there. I got a number in my head right now.
Okay. Do they smell 1,000 times better than a human? 7,000 or 10,000?
Oh, I was gonna say 50.
Oh, you've only owned a dog for 6 months, so that's okay.
Dude, 50 times better? I mean, imagine.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you now. This answer, I did not fact check this. This came off of it.
Okay. Here's the thing: the fact that a dog could run along and tell not where a rabbit is, but where a rabbit was yesterday.
Right.
That is something.
Right. So is it 1,000 times stronger, 7,000 times stronger, or 10,000 times stronger?
I kind of reject the question because
Okay.
it will be like, well, what are they talking about? Parts per million? Like, I don't understand. Like, how are they quantifying this? I'll say 1,000, but I'll say 1,000, but I don't understand how they're quantifying.
Well, I don't
how's
either.
it measured?
I don't either. There's not. This is not. We're not playing for money.
1,000.
Okay, it's 10,000. So there. That's what they say. 10,000 times stronger than a human.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can go into a car and tell that someone once upon a time had drugs in the car.
Right. We can't. No. Well, we can't if they just left a blunt in the ashtray.
I was talking to a Border Patrol guy, and I was saying, like, we were talking about false positives. And he said, when that dog says it's in that car, maybe it's not in that car. It was in that car.
It was in that car. Yeah.
He's like, it's not. He goes, there's no. It's not that it wasn't ever there.
Right.
It was there. It's just not there now.
That car did not come off the line in Detroit.
Yeah.
There was drugs in it at
like
some point.
That level of confidence.
Yeah. So that's 10,000 times more than a human, which I'll buy it.
Because you can't smell it when you're. Some drugs you can, but I mean, a lot of stuff you would smell it if you're sitting right next to it.
No, hell no. Okay, when overheated and this goes back to the dog's sense of smell. This is just a common sense. Okay. I know you don't have a hunting dog, but he's got a nose, and they got a great nose.
Oh, the other day I was running around with a turkey feather in his mouth, and I'm like, it's a bird dog.
Yeah, he is. Sure he is.
That's not so hard. Look, he's already a bird dog.
I'm going to call Brownie. See if we can make a turkey show. All right. When overheated and panting, the dog's sense of smell is reduced by as much as how many percent?
Hadn't thought about that. Is it multiple choice?
Nope, I'm not. You just take a guess. Like God, I mean, if I was running and panting, what would I be able to do?
He's overheated and panting.
Overheated and panting.
So all of his wind's coming through his mouth.
So, is it what's
75% reduction?
No, 40%. 40%.
Oh man, I almost did 50.
Well, you would have been good. I'd have gave it to you for 50.
That's pretty interesting too. That's a good argument for not getting your dog all worked up.
Yeah, there you go. It's probably why they also let them dogs keep them on a leash when they're checking for things, so they don't start running around the car like a banshee and get all hot.
Let me tell you something you don't know about dogs.
Uh-oh, what's that?
If you're braising some deer meat, and then you eat all the deer meat, and you take that braising liquid and keep it in the fridge and put a couple tablespoons on top of their food, they like that food a lot better.
Wow. hang on. Let me get my pencil.
Put that on your dog things.
Let me write that down. When braising meat on stove, drippings will often help a dog. Thank you. Thank you.
Increase the palatability of dog food. Yes, it's true.
All right. I really think you're going to get this one.
So if someone hits you with the true and false on that, you'll be like, true.
True. Did you ever see that one where I got to keep my thumb on this one, but it's one of the memes that the guy says, if you had a choice of either being quarantined with your wife and kids.
Oh, no, it's funny.
A and B.
They give them A, like A with your wife and kids.
Or B.
B. And before they even give B, it's like B.
B. I don't like a lot of memes. I'm anti-meme.
No, I'm way anti-meme, but I didn't think of that as a meme. I just thought of it as a funny.
I just thought it as so funny. B.
Yeah. No, that was good. I recognize that actor too. I think he's an actor. But yeah, that's not a meme.
No,
because I hate memes.
Yeah,
that's a funny. That's called funny.
When
video.
people send me memes, I just I don't even respond. I'm like, no,
funny video.
Yeah. Okay, this is your last one. I was going to ask you if you knew how many teeth a dog had compared to a human, but there's no way you'd know that. So.
Oh, that's a good question, though.
Well, a human has 32 teeth. Do you know how many teeth a dog has, Steve?
Huh. No, I really don't.
42. No. 42 teeth in them little dogs' heads.
You know how many feathers a turkey has in its tail?
How many feathers a turkey has? Boy, I just seen a picture. I'm going to guess 24?
No, 18.
18. Damn it.
Okay, give me another one. I already knew that one. I was just throwing it out because I wanted to have a little win here.
Right. Well, you're going to get this. You're going to get this one, and I'm not saying why you're going to get it. I just think you're going to get this one. The most common health problem in dogs.
Oh.
What is the most common health problem in dogs? And if you're stumbling at it.
I was talking about this with my brother. And he was talking about dogs that are long-lived and not long-lived. And I know that we were talking about, I think he was saying something about that labs are notorious for a hip problem.
Okay, that's a joint problem. It's not necessarily a health problem. Dog could live there.
A joint problem's a health problem.
Well, it is when it comes to getting around, but it doesn't affect.
You're talking about mortality, like a thing
Yes. All right, put it this way. What is one of the most common health problems of humans in America?
Heart disease. Mm-mm. I think it is the most common health problem.
Okay, what common string would you what would you associate?
Cancer.
No. Dang it! I thought you'd get this one because you're
eating
so
porcupine, eating chocolate.
Nice. Well, you were getting somewhere with the chocolate. Obesity.
No, really?
Yeah, obesity is the most.
Obesity is regarded as a serious dog problem.
Yeah, I mean they die early from it. I mean people got their dogs as fat as their ants. I mean. It's the same thing with.
So it's an actual thing. Like we have an obesity problem.
We have yes, yeah, absolutely. When you go see you probably don't take the dog to the vet because you didn't buy the dog. That's the kid's job to go to the vet. But you ask a vet.
On the contrary, I did take it to the vet one time.
Well, next time you go,
I got sent to the vet with the dog.
And it wasn't. I don't have to feed it. I don't have to clean up its poop, but I had to take it to the vet.
It just so happened, I was appointed the dog dropper-offer at the vet. That's interesting, dog obesity, because I've been a little bit. It's funny. I've been a little bit watching our dog to see. I liked how its ribs were showing when we got it.
Mm-hmm. That's very healthy to show. You should always be able to see the last 3 ribs. I
remember. I could be mad. I'm going to tell the stripped-down version of the story so I don't have any parts that are wrong. There's some color to the story, but I'm not going to tell you the color part.
Okay.
Because I was going to keep it to the bare basics. But there's a guy who had a lion hound. And he had a real lean, mean lion hound. And somehow he got a citation for, animal neglect.
Because it looked too skinny?
The appearance of the dog.
Right.
And he got it to a court date.
Wow.
And had his vet write a letter or testify or something on his behalf.
Like his key witness for his defense.
Yeah.
Was his vet.
Who was on the contrary, This is probably the most cared for dog you'll ever lay eyes on. No.
No, that's probably true. I mean, they should be. They should be.
Someone had, I think like someone had complained about the dog, that it was starving, and he got like a,
Yeah, yeah. Just like somebody said it was chained up in the backyard and nobody was paying attention to it. Somebody just called the authorities on him. Mm-hmm.
I met another guy who was in Florida, and he likes to run hogs. And, and even when I was out with him, I went out with him one night, and a hog ripped the side of this dog open. Down, cut the hide.
Yeah.
Cut the hide open along its ribs. Didn't puncture into the lungs, but cut the hide open. And he gets going off about, all the vet trips,
Mm-hmm.
And I say, man, how's that conversation go? Like, what's the vet think when you're always bringing all these dogs down that are all mauled up by these pigs? He said, you got to find a vet that likes to hunt hogs.
I would agree with that statement. I would agree with that statement. Sue brought one of her corgis into a vet, and our vet had a temporary, like a sub vet in for a while. Somebody was out having a baby, and this person was, her height in inches was the same as her waist. Okay. Huh. And she said something to Sue about, that dog looks like it could lose a few pounds. And Sue, Sue's in her 60s, and she's in good. She goes to CrossFit, and she's like, "Boy, I had to hold my tongue." So I really had to hold my tongue. She's like, "Let's not worry about my dog."
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take this dog obesity thing seriously. I'm not gonna let my dog get obese.
No, they will live longer and have less hip problems and everything. Just like humans. You put 5, 6 extra, 10 extra pounds. I'm feeling it now with my knees and fat.
I might cut back on that gelatin, that braising liquid gelatin.
Yeah, they don't need that. They just,
my wife puts on its food?
Oh, really? You're really doing this often? You shouldn't do that often.
Well, I mean, I did it until it ran out.
Okay.
And then my kids want me to make some more, but she was putting fish oil on it. Puts a little fish oil on its food because its skin was real dry.
Yeah, that's good.
It had like bad dandruff.
That's actually good. Yeah, that's not
itchy.
Yeah, that does help dogs, for sure.
So any number of things cleared that up. Either it was the fish oil, or either it wasn't like living out on the lamb, on a.
Could just be better. You're giving it a high quality food anyway, so it could have been getting better skin as it went along too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it was kind of out fending for itself out in the
Yeah.
Eating garbage and getting beat up by other dogs all the time, probably.
So this was really a stray that was picked up, huh? This dog.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They know a little bit. They'll tell you a little bit about where. Yeah, it was just a stray. They rounded up.
And it's pretty good around kids in the house and everything.
Yeah, we got it young, man.
Yeah. Cool.
No, she's the dog is very eager to please. Doesn't like people being unhappy with her.
That's good.
That's good. Not defiant.
Right.
Very
submissive.
Yeah. Doesn't like people being unhappy with her. Just wants to be part of the program.
She has a high level of cooperation. Then she's a pack animal. She's a true pack animal.
Very high level of cooperation. Doesn't want people being irritated with her.
Yeah.
Very when you say when she goes to do something and you're like, no, she's like, oh, dude, jeez,
give me a break.
I know, jeez, man, hurt my feelings. That's this dog acts like.
So this will be the one and done. This dog will probably live, 12 years, which gets, that gets Matt all the way to end of high school. So yeah, you'd probably be a one and done guy, probably, huh?
Oh, these kids are gonna cry when that dog dies. That's gonna be horrible.
Oh, it's always horrible. But
makes me wish we didn't got a damn thing.
Hey,
all right.
That's what you do that's what you sign up for when you get a dog. Statistically.
Any more trivia questions?
I had a couple that I didn't have. Yeah, I got a couple more. Sure.
Right. How sad are your kids gonna do when that dog dies?
Right.
On 1 to 10.
On a 1 to 10 scale, how many of your kids are going to need therapy if the dog dies before they become adults? No. Dogs see. I'll just give you a couple facts here. Dogs can see best with their vision before the sun rises and sets.
No.
That's what it says. I'm telling you. Yep. How about this? How about what year was the first dog? What year did the first dog travel in space around the world? Around the Earth, rather. Around the Earth. What year?
Orbited the Earth.
Yeah, orbited the Earth.
1960.
Ooh, not bad. 57. 57. It was the Russians.
I almost went at 59. I was almost even closer.
Yeah. The Russians were ahead of us on that one. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Everyone knows that the Greyhound is, like, technically the fastest dog, right? They use them for racetracks and sight hounds back in Egypt when they chase down animals. Give me your best guess on how many miles per hour a Greyhound can run.
Oh.
Not for a sustained, obviously, just his top-end speed.
That's a good question. Cheetah's the fastest land animal.
Yep.
So he's not that fast.
No.
What's that, 65, 70 miles? I don't know if that's
I think it's 60 or something. Yeah.
Like
60.
a burst of 60 or something insane like that.
Right.
A dog hauling ass.
Yeah. Think of them as sight hounds. What they, they all come in
30.
More than that. 44 miles per hour.
No, that's not bad.
That's. So let me ask you this. Now they, back in, well, in fact they don't use them to run them down. They use them to shoot them. They use them to shoot deer in the Virginias and Carolinas, but it's not to run a deer down. But how fast can a deer run? I don't know that question. I don't know the answer to that question.
Hold on, say that part again.
How fast can a deer run, like a white-tailed deer? I don't know myself, because these dogs were used to run down game back in.
Oh yeah.
Back in, I don't know, 6,000 years ago or something, 3,000 years ago.
I remember we've clocked them at well over 35.
Okay.
I feel like when they're running alongside you.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, when you see a bunch of deer running through a field and you're going down a road. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they could outrun a deer. I'm guessing. I'm guessing. Now, obviously, a wolf can't. Probably they're not built.
Well, I think then there's a sustained thing too.
Right. Yeah. The deer or whatever is going to run out of steam and slow down. All right. Let's see. What's this? No, that's too. Oh, here's a good one for you. Here's a good one. That you know that dog ownership is associated with a longer life for people and everything.
Yeah, but I reject that. You know why? I think that it has to do with.
You can't reject it. I haven't given you the question yet.
Yeah. Okay. You ask me the question.
Okay.
Ask me the question.
All right. Or it's actually a statement. All right. Petting a dog. Just petting a dog.
Correlation is not causation.
Right.
But go on.
Right. Petting it. This is what they say. Petting a dog can lower your blood pressure and your heart rate.
True.
Okay. You're right. Exactly. It can.
You understand what I'm saying about correlation and causation?
Yes. Yes.
I think pet ownership goes along with income, right?
Mm-hmm.
It goes along with having a home.
Right. If you're really in dire straits and you're stuck in a foxhole somewhere, all the dog in the world isn't going to lower your blood pressure, your heart rate.
Certain lifestyle things. There's certain lifestyle things that go along in this country. There's certain lifestyle things that go along with, just lifestyle issues that go along with dog ownership.
Yeah. Everything else here is kind of goofy. It's too.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good here too. I'm good here.
I'm trivia. I'm good on the trivia.
Yeah,
I don't think I performed super well.
Nah, you didn't do it. You only own a dog for what, 3-4 months? That's not that long. But now you've got some tidbits.
Yeah, no, I'll be able to amaze my. Whenever you're allowed to have people back over for dinner again, I'll be able to amaze them with my dog trivia.
Right? Did you know that? How many teeth does a dog? Did you know dogs have 42 teeth? No, I bet you didn't know that. All right, Stephen. That's all I got. Other than, I guess I'll tell everybody if things loosen up here.
Yeah, I can't tell if I'm going to see you. I can't tell. I gotta figure out if I'm gonna be seeing you in early summer when we go home every year.
Well, that too, and
but I just got to find out now. Like I gotta. Me and my mom need to get our heads on straight about how we're going to handle this situation.
Right, and then you've also got the Meat Eater Live in Detroit. I don't know if that's
all that stuff's getting postponed, man.
Everything. Oh, even that one in June is.
I don't know yet. But
right.
I mean, it's very hard to picture. I think for anybody, it's a little bit hard to picture them allowing 1,000.
Especially the way our governor looks at things here right now. Did you hear that she closed down? You can't use a boat on the water with a motor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like weird, erratic.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty crazy around here.
It's like there's some of that going on in Washington too, where just like someone sort of like grasping at straws, man, like grasping.
Yeah.
Wildly grasping.
But it's a weird thing to shut down. To say, well, you can go put a kayak in the water, but we're not going to let you put your, 14-foot rowboat in there with a trolling motor. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like getting 10 people who know what they're talking about and actually know and understand the activities and understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And then say, like, how would we go about this? Like, what are some good parameters to put around it? It seems more like
knee-jerk reaction.
Someone kind of going like, I don't really understand how that world works, but let's try this. That's what it kind of feels like.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of getting like some people, I don't know, a group of people who can be like, hey, what are we trying to prevent? Okay, let's think about this.
Right.
All right. So if we're trying to prevent that, we're trying to allow people the maximum amount of liberty allowable within the framework. Let's do this. It just doesn't feel like that.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't seem like that's going to flatten the curve, so to speak.
Feels more like someone throwing darts.
Sounds more like
throwing darts.
Somebody told me it sounds like somebody who knows the governor doesn't like boats under lake.
They're like, dude, I'm gonna have a real quiet spring.
I can't stand when people start going that early jet skiing and that early skiing. Yeah, I made a good contribution to Gretchen last year. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get this shut down for a month.
It's gonna finally have the spring of my dreams.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Steve, I'll let you go. I'm sure you got shit to do. I just figured it was a long time since It's probably been, like I said, 10 years since I ever sat down and chatted with you for an hour and a half.
I think that's a little extreme, but sure.
If you could tell me, there's your last trivia question. The last time you and I had an hour and a half unbroken conversation, you tell me when it was, because I know it was in Alaska.
I'll make a little list.
All right, you get back to me with the correct answer then.
Got it. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, see you, Steve. Bye. Well, that was different. And to be honest with you, that was just self-serving. I hadn't talked to him. And I told you at the end, or you heard me say, and I bet you he can't find out. I'll bet you it was 10 years ago when I did that black bear hunt with him for Field and Stream magazine. I actually got the film credit, believe it or not, or the photo credit. I think they paid me $300 for taking pictures for that issue of Field and Stream when we did that bear hunt. And as much as I go up to the cabin and I go fishing with everybody, I never get that time to sit and bullshit with old friends. And I think I'm going to have a couple more of those come on. When I get to Virginia, I'm going to have a conversation with Chip. It'll go down all kinds of roads. And my buddy Roof, we're going to have one soon with my buddy Roof. We're just going to go down memory lane and shoot the shit. And that's just another side of life, you know? I just love talking to people, and I love reconnecting with old friends. And so there. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank Patreon patrons for donating. Pike Gear, Purina, Gunner Kennels, Onyx Maps, Salem Autosports, CZ USA, Wilderness, Canine Athlete, Gumleaf USA, Backridge Ammunition. I want to thank everybody. Thank you the most. Bye.